Well, hello there YouTube and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, I've got a box sitting right here and today we're going to do an unboxing video. I finally picked up a stabilizer and we're just going to find out, is it any good? All that's coming up right now on Stuff with Stephen. Well, one thing is for sure, they did wrap this thing well enough. So this is the stabilizer we're talking about today. This is the Zhiyun, I assume is how you pronounce that. The Zhiyun Smooth-Q 3-axis smartphone stabilizer. I picked this up off Amazon for about 140 bucks. And I read some of the reviews, heard some pretty good things about it. And so today, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this as, just an amateur video person. So we'll do some comparisons and, just see what all comes in this thing. So let's get into the next box. Let's see, packaging feels, about what you'd expect on anything that you buy that gets shipped. It feels pretty like it's been, secured well. And so let's open it up. And first thing you see is there is I guess this is the stabilizer itself and its carrying case. So I'll pull that out. It's got a nice carrying case, so I will definitely be using that whenever I need to carry this thing when I'm doing shoots and stuff. Let's see what else we have in here. There is a strap for the carrying case. Set that to the side. And what looks like a charging cable. And we've also got some instructions here. So that is nice. Alright, let's just set this box to the side now and take a look at the actual stabilizer itself. So, I'm zipping this. The case, it feels substantial, feels like it'll protect it, if I had this in a bag with some other things. Now looking at this stabilizer itself, the first thing you notice is that it feels pretty good in the hand, feels like a high quality device. And just starting up here at the top, it's got a space for your phone or your GoPro, whatever you're using. It's got some pretty strong clamps on here to hold it in place, since a rubberized surface just to grip it really good. So I really don't think your phone's gonna slide out of there. It should be pretty secure there. Then you've got all the different spaces where it moves around to kind of balance your phone to give you some good quality stabilized video. One of the real reasons that I wanted to get one of these is that, I've been noticing in my videos where I've been doing a lot of walking, specifically at like car shows and things like that, that the footage tends to be really, really shaky, and I know that downgrades the quality of the video. So I wanted to get one of these with the hopes that it should improve, when I'm doing shots like that and make them a lot smoother and make the footage look better to in turn give you guys some better content, because that's always my goal here on the channel. But just moving on down this thing, you get to the control panel. You've got a joystick to allow you to move your phone up, down, left, and right, panning and things like that. You got a mode button so you can adjust the different modes based on how the device follows, what you're doing with it at that time. You've got a zoom toggle here and the power and record button. You can get an app on your phone that allows you to control the zoom and tell your phone when to record, so that's a pretty nice feature to have there. Then on the side we've got a micro USB port to charge up this device, because it does have a battery in it. It just has an electric motor that moves everything around to keep your phone balanced, which we'll see here in just a second. And then here on the back there is an auxiliary USB port that can be used for power or charging your phone or anything like that when you have it on the device. Now this thing is spec'd to get 12 hours of battery life if you have everything on here good and balanced. So that's a pretty decent amount of time. Even if it doesn't do the full 12, it's gonna outlast anything I've got to record anyway. So I think we should be pretty good on the battery life. But now let's get this thing set up and take a look at how it functions as a stabilizer. Now getting this thing set up is pretty straightforward. I've got my iPhone 7 Plus here. And what we want to do is take our phone and pop it here in the clamp. So I'm going to use the springs just to get that in place. And then I'm just going to slide it on over to where it stops. And now you notice that the phone just kind of droops. That's because we have to balance it before we can use it. So there is a knob back here that I can twist, and it allows this to move up and down or in and out. And what that does is it adjusts the phone's center of gravity on this thing. You want to get it as balanced as possible when the device isn't even on, so that it doesn't have to work as hard to keep it balanced. The better balanced it is, the better battery life you're going to get out of it. And so you can see, I'm just making some mini adjustments here. And once it sits horizontal on its own, like that, oh, went a little bit too far. But right there, that's a good spot, so I can secure this, and now the device is ready to be powered on, so we can really take a look at how it works. Now that everything's balanced, we can go ahead and power this thing on. So I'm just going to hold the power button here for a few seconds. And you see it just sprung to life. Now the default mode is pan following mode, so as I pan the phone left and right, you can see that it just kind of follows where I'm trying to go with a nice smooth motion. Now because it's only in pan following mode, if I try and do any other kind of crazy moving around, it's not going to do that just because of the mode that it's in. If we switch over to locking mode, which is one press of the mode button does that, you can see that now it doesn't move the phone at all. It just tries to keep the phone facing whatever direction it was in when I initially put it into locking mode. And because this thing does a 360, I can move that all the way around and it still just stays facing that direction. Now also in this mode, what's fun is that you can take and use your joystick to move the phone left and right, so you get some nice smooth panning shots that way, or up and down. And it's really smooth, and you can even adjust the speed just based on how you move the toggle stick around, because it's really just like a PlayStation controller. Now moving on to the last mode, which a double tap of the mode button will put me in, takes me into following mode. And so with this mode, I can move the phone, I can pan it left or right or up and down, and the phone just follows what I'm doing in a nice smooth motion, which is pretty nice. And so it just does all that so that regardless of whatever my hand or arm is doing, running, jumping, whatever I'm doing, it gives you some really smooth footage, because the stabilizer just sits there and sort of counteracts any motion that you don't really want to translate into your video footage. And so now let's take a look at how that really works by looking at some comparison video. I'm going to pop the stabilizer in one hand and grab another phone and put it in another hand that is not on a stabilizer. And then we're going to see how the footage comes out between the two. So here I am just walking around with the front cameras. On the left I have my LG V10 on the stabilizer, and on the right is my iPhone 7 Plus, which I'm just holding as usual. It's easy to see that the stabilizer is doing a pretty good job here. Now moving on to the rear cameras, you can really see the difference between the stabilized phone versus the non-stabilized one. Everything just looks really smooth, and I'm pretty impressed with this unit. One thing I'll notice that the LG V10 is right at the limit for what this stabilizer can handle in terms of size and weight. So if you decide to go out and get one of these, be sure to check that whatever model you choose can handle your device. For $140 bucks, I definitely think this was worth it. I've dropped a link to this particular unit down in the description. YouTube, there you have it, the Zhiyun Smooth-Q 3-axis smartphone stabilizer. Try saying that 3 times in a row fast. But overall, I'm super impressed with the quality that I saw in the test shots on this thing. I really think it's going to allow me to take my video quality to the next level, which, I always aim to elevate myself, my content, and give you guys better things here on the channel. I definitely recommend a stabilizer to anybody that does a lot of footage or videoing where you have to move around quite a bit. Just those test shots I did in this video, you can see it improves the quality quite a bit. And so I'm going to drop a link to this one down in the description if you're interested. And also, if you use a stabilizer, drop down in the comments and tell me about your experiences using these and, what the pros and cons have been that you've run into. And so I hope you guys found some useful information in this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it to all your friends as well. And lastly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But anyway, thanks you guys for tuning in. I will be seeing you on the next video.